Okay, just starting the game. All right, we're playing at 2200. What flag is that, man? That looks like a Polynesian flag. Is that a Polynesian flag? Okay, I got that one really wrong. That's on the other side of the world is Polynesia. Okay, I guess we'll get another game. Someone doesn't want to play the bird, it seems. Please don't give me a game with black, though, chess.com. That would be really unfair. That would be deeply unfair. All right, here we are playing Blunder Panda. Nice. Some games with Blunder Panda. We got to get the pre-moves in. From pre-moves for all the marbles. Yeah, I got my favorite Japanese shirt on. I love this shirt. I love this painting. Are you gotta be kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? Is this a joke? Y'all are seeing it here first. No one wants to play against the bird. Okay. Game number 3. Let's see. All right, good. And he played c6, which is pretty much tantamount to giving us a free move for no reason. This is a completely useless move in the bird, or against the bird. We could play c4. C4 is okay. B3, bishop b2 is also okay. I'm wondering, like, what to do. I feel that we could definitely play a bit more aggressively with d3, e4 because he's wasted time on the c6 move. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let's play b3 actually. I think you could do literally anything here. c6 is just a big waste of time. There. All right, I'm taking the piece. It's time to go. All right, yeah, we're just picking up the goodies today. Okay, there. Knight g5 looks really good because knight g5 we're hitting this, we're hitting this. Bishop b2, shooting through here. I guess he's going to keep playing. Half of me was expecting him to just resign after the way the game started. We could take on h7. If rook takes, I have bishop takes f6, queen takes, rook takes. No, then he takes this. Bro's being a little sneaky. This has to be completely winning though, if I'm being honest. Let's play bishop d3 here. Just start to power down on that. I mean, that looks threatening, but it doesn't actually do anything because I got something called a pin here. Where should I move this knight? I guess we're going to put the knight here. If he takes, I have rook takes. Still don't have to worry about that. Long term, my knight is going to be switching around here. Oh, wait, I'm realizing now I have takes, bishop g6, king e7, bishop a3, c5. Yeah, I don't think that leads anywhere. Knight takes doesn't lead anywhere. Let's play simple. He wants to play knight c5. He wants to get some play going with knight c5. I guess, no, knight a4, he's going to kick us out with b5. That wouldn't do anything. Knight c5 is not the end of the world, but, I don't know, I don't want to allow knight c5. Maybe I should have put my pawns on b4 to begin with to just avoid this. Ooh, look at this, actually. Knight a4, b5, I have knight takes e6, f takes, check, king e7, bishop a3, c5, knight takes. That actually doesn't lead anywhere, though. All right, you know what? We'll just play knight e2. If he wants, he can grab the bishop pair. I don't really care. We'll play knight g3. We're getting pieces closer to the king side. Something is starting to come to a boil over here on the side of the board. There. We could take on e6. Check. No, that doesn't do anything yet. Let's just play knight g3. I'm really anxious to get this knight out of the way just so that if knight c5, we can play bishop e2. There. All right, bishop g6 looks interesting because takes, we have takes. Yeah, still got the broken mouse. Bishop g6 takes, queen d6, check. King f7. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything yet. We could play knight h5. Queen c7 doesn't actually threaten anything, though. This is a nice part about, or a nice disadvantage of them castling queenside is that they're weakening f7. We don't have to worry about it. Let's play knight h5. Yeah, knight h5, if he takes, I take here, and I'm going to win the rook, okay. If I'm able to break through with the queen, this is going to be the end of the game. Definitely going to be time to go, then. I got a huge hot cup of Starbucks coffee. Delicious. I'm excited for today's video. This is going to be a good one. Kudos to this guy for putting up a fight. I would have expected him to just resign earlier. Yeah, normally when people blunder that bishop, they throw in the towel immediately. I really hope this guy resigns. You know, we have to go. I want to get another game in. If I don't want the only game today to be me being a piece up, right? Like, what's the fun in that? What's there to even analyze there? I got some cool tricks though. Look at this. Takes here, check, takes, knight takes. I'm winning the queen. It's time to go. Okay, there. There. Bro is going there. Dude, I like knight h7 a lot. Knight h7 is a mad cheesy move. You play knight h7, you get all the dirty glances at the chess club. Knight h7 takes rook h8, knight takes g7. That's great. Um, yeah, I'm gonna play it. You don't have to ask me twice. If he takes here, we take with the queen, and I got some good pressure here. And knight looks really bizarre here, honestly. Yeah, on principle, he should take this one, but even then, I take with the queen. Knight looks really weird, but it's actually providing good pressure against the f6 square. I just want to chip through, right? I just want to break through on the king side. I'll wrap up this game. We got to keep it moving, man. There. Can we play rook g1? I could take on f6 and just completely destroy his structure here. That would be fine. Should I take this way to be able to... I mean, there's a lot of moves here. What is going on, man? Dude, this mouse is broken. This is like a $3 mouse I bought a year ago. Like, truth be told, it's very good quality. It should have been broken a long time ago. But it understood the task at hand, and it knew that we couldn't afford to have it quit on us. Let's play rook g1. Tons of pressure here. He could take, I take, and then he throws in a check. Check doesn't do that much, though. I just put my king on f1. Still got massive barricade here, separating the kings. Separating his pieces from my king, I should say. Yeah, I gotta start sipping this coffee. I'm on a really bad sleep schedule at the moment. I went to sleep at like 4 a.m. last night. Um, yeah, I'm starting to just cut out almost all my lessons. The whole idea is that I need to just focus on this course. I need to get this course done. I know I posted a video literally just yesterday saying the course is almost over. Chessable gave me an update. They said that they want me to publish the part of the course that I have not finished yet first. And so because of that, I'm still working overtime on the course. I'll be working for like another 2 months, I think. Something around there. I don't know exactly yet. I still have like 300 variations left to do. But once those are done, both volumes of this E45 course will finally be done. Can I take here? He's going to play c4. I guess we should be thinking about that. But yeah, I mean, what is the plan here? This is weird. So c4. c4 looks a bit annoying. I could take here. I mean, queen e2, c4. Yeah, no, I was thinking about preventing this with queen e2, c4, and then takes, and then we're going to take here later. The problem with that, though, is queen e2, c4 takes. He's going to take here. Well, then I actually take there. He takes my queen. I take this with check. That's a mess. But my knight is probably trapped there. Probably doesn't work. Yeah, we could take on g7. If he plays c4, what can I do? I could take on f6. He takes with the knight, and then I play... Yeah, he takes with the knight. What do I do there? I play bishop e2. Okay, I'm going to go for that. I think that this is fine. It's a very weird position. So he takes there. I don't think I'm in trouble here. Knight looks a little bit weird there. I'm taking this, though. Bishop f6. That's interesting. That's a sneaky move. A sneaky move. Yeah, this is some tricky business. If I take here, my bishop is getting into real trouble there. I've got a few weak pieces there. I need to keep this bishop on g8, actually. I'm realizing now this was a very poor conversion on my part. I should not have allowed this much. Like, the whole trick here now is that takes bishop d3. He plays rook g8, and I could be in trouble there. So we should play queen c1. Yeah, let's play queen c1. If he plays rook h8, I have time to get my bishop back. No, wait, actually, rook h8 still... Yeah, this is not correct. I'm not playing this correctly. No, no, sorry. Rook h8, I have to take, and then play queen b2 to hit the knight. And if he plays knight e4 there, I have time for knight takes e6, and I'm hitting the rook. All right, yeah, let's go for that. Let me take here. It's time to go. Another thing we're doing is that we're deflecting the knight away so that it can't support the e5 break. This was so unnecessarily tricky, though, to be clear. You do not have to... I should not have played this way, honestly. I'm shooting through these two. If he takes here, I'm taking here. Bro is still in the... Bro was still definitely in the Dragon's Den. Ooh, look at this. If he plays queen e7, I have knight h5. With a pin. That's a pin to win. It's time to go. Yeah, I completely lucked out here. Like this is definitely not the right way to play up a piece. Next time if you get a position of piece up, just castle, develop, and wait for your moment later. My mistake this game was that I tried to rush it, and I tried to win it too quickly. In the end, it looks like it worked, though. I think he has to play d4 here. Yeah, bro has to play d4. Yeah, d4, this is going to get... I don't know, though. This is going to get very... Do I have anything here, though? Play bishop d3. Yeah, we got to play bishop d3 here. Unfortunately, I'm losing my knight. I could take here whenever I want. Yeah, okay. I could also take here. No, we don't. We do not want to split these pawns up. Um, I could do a few things. So pretty much, I have two choices here. I could play knight f5, and I could get the pawn this way and leave him with an f pawn, or I could leave him with an e pawn. I think it's better to leave him with an e pawn. E pawn's going to be a little weaker, and also I want to keep the file closed. Let's take this way. Okay, and I'm gonna castle. Yeah, this is a bit tricky. Honestly, this guy defended it fantastically. I might have to set Vladimir, my watchful guardian, the watchful guardian of the channel on this game. Okay, well, yeah, let's just take here. Just start picking up some pawns. Now that my king is out of the center, I can take here, no problem. It's not an issue if he wins this. This is going to lead to a very interesting dynamic, though. He's going to start pushing this pawn down the board. That's not that simple a position. The queen is sort of secluded here. Yeah, this is a little tricky. Knight d5. What is that move about? He wants to take this way. Bro's trying to meet the mare twice. Let's play f5. If he takes, I have bishop c4. Yeah, takes bishop c4. Okay, this is exactly what I was going for. Bishop c4. He plays rook d8. We take, and then I have queen e5 check. It looks like I'm picking up all the goodies. Yeah, let's take here. I'm gonna check and then pick up this pawn. We do have to be a little careful though. King a8, queen takes. He could also play queen c7, I think, but like queen, this is interesting. Like queen c7, even trading there, I should have fantastic winning chances. Both of these pawns are weak, and his rook is already sort of tied to this knight. I have fantastic winning chances here. Queen takes pawn has to be a bit better though. Queen takes pawn has to be a little better. Just winning a pawn. I guess he has to play knight b6. Knight b6, where should my bishop go? Bishop could go to e6. Generally, it's better to keep your bishop closer to your pawns, but in this case, yeah, his king is already a bit too weak. He can't establish his pieces on that active, aggressive squares yet. Queen d6. Okay, bro is playing for every trick in the book. Bro wants to play knight e3 here. Bro's a man with a plan. I could play queen d3. Queen d3 is interesting. Look at that. Queen a3, king b1, and then he's pinned here. I feel like a better move, though, is rook e1. Yeah, rook e1, if he plays knight e3, I can... Okay, actually, that's interesting. Knight e3, if I take with the pawn, he's going to throw in a fork. Maybe should I play rook h1? The problem with rook h1 is that he checks, I play king b1, he plays knight b4, then I could check and bring my queen back, though. That's not an issue yet. All right, we'll do it that way. We'll play rook h1 here. Okay. He's going to play knight b4 soon. I know what he's up to. I saw the idea. All right, queen e5 check. Oh, yeah, this is actually quite tricky. Look at this. So queen b2, he's going to take and then win this pawn back. Let's play queen a1. This is the better way to handle it. Because he can't take here on account of checkmate. That's a key difference. And if he can't take, then I'm just going to be up 2 pawns. I'm going to win this pawn next. There. All right, that's a good move. Let's just play d3. Yeah, I'm just going to play d3. If he plays b5, b5 is super weakening. Technically, he could get away with b5, but dude, b5 is so weakening. That's such a risky move. All right, yeah, he's loading up. Bro is a man with a plan. This man's got a grand plan. Um, yeah, what are we doing here, though? We play queen b2. Queen b2, he's going to take and then play b5, and then I'm going to play a3. I think that's winning. I just have to play it. I'm honestly a little suspicious that this guy is cheating because he's defending unbelievably well. Bro blunders a bishop out of the opening and then defends like a true champion. At the very least, this video is a testament to the human spirit. Okay, there. Let's install the rook on h5, man. This pawn is not going anywhere. All right, I'm going to play a3. Knight c6, I have bishop d5. If he takes, I take. Okay. And so this is cool. If he takes here, he's trying to separate my pawns. I'm going to play c4. King c3, I'm hunting down this pawn. I want to keep my pawns connected. You got to have a blob of pawns. You got to have like a connected pawn, maybe 2, to have good winning chances in rook endgames. Okay, here. There, I'm taking the second pawn. Yeah. What is going on? So dude has to start playing quickly, and all of a sudden he makes tons of mistakes. Maybe it's just that other game that happened to me, but I'm so suspicious now of people who cheat. What should we do here? The simplest way to do it is just push b5 and be able to take this way. All right. Yeah, this is completely over. Dude defended an unbelievable game, though. Truth be told. King c5, check. What's it going to be, pal? It's time to go. These pawns are running up the board. There's no way he's going to flag me. Yeah, it's definitely time to go. Okay, that was his last trick. All right, I want to see the game review, man. I want to look at the game review. My suspicions have been piqued. Let's see this graph here. All right, yeah. So, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. It seems like he defended it fantastic. It's that other game that happened a few days ago on the channel that makes me very suspicious now whenever anyone defends well. Um, all right, so yeah, we got this. C6 is a complete mistake. C6 is literally just a waste of time. You should be very happy whenever you see C6. It literally doesn't do anything here. Yeah, we could play C4, and then this leads to a classic type of position here that's analyzed in the Unusual Birds chapter of my course. So bishop g4, h3. Yeah, bro just makes a big blunder. I play g4. I win a piece. So yeah, the game, I should be completely winning here. It was surprising to me that I didn't have a win on the spot here. Because on the one hand, I'm up a piece, and then also we're ahead in development, and it looks like we have Banco-style pressure against these 2 pawns here. So it's just shocking to me that there's no immediate win. I played bishop d3. Apparently, I'm supposed to play c4 here. c4 makes a lot of sense. Are we going to take? Yeah, we could take at some point. I would assume, so computer likes queen c2, bishop d6, knight c3, queen e7 first. But at some point we are going to take, and the idea is that I think, well, if they take this way, we have knight b5 ideas. And this would be very good. Also, his king won't be able to castle queenside. His king will have to castle straight into the dragon's den. Meanwhile, if he takes the other way, then he's clearing out this square for our bishop long term. and we can also install our queen on f5. That's very interesting. Yeah, I guess this is one of the few exceptions. If you're already up a piece, you can go for the c takes d idea. Normally, this is not a good exchange strategically because you'd be opening up their e file on some squares that you've made a tiny bit weak with this f4 advance. Yeah, this is a little weird. Anyway, bro played e6. I played bishop d3, h6, knight c3, knight d7, knight e2. Apparently, I'm just supposed to play queen e2 here. If he plays knight c5, what do we do here? We just play knight f3. He gets this, and yeah, this is just winning. I'm just gonna castle, bring a rook over to g1, and then we're gonna have great pressure down against these two pawns here. Like sooner or later, just with incremental improvements, that has to be a winning position. So I'm talking about something like this here, like rook g1. I don't even know what they're going to do already. They have to probably play something like rook g8. And already their pieces are so precariously placed, like if the knight moves, our queen breaks in. Also, if the knight moves, the rook hangs, and we'll have rook takes h6. In positions like this, which are so precariously placed, all we need to do is look for the straw that breaks the camel's back. Um, you always have two ways to win this position. You can just keep on amping up the pressure slightly, or you could just look for the straw that breaks the camel's back. In this case, the computer's pointing out this. E4. We're pushing for E5. If he takes here, we just trade the knight off. And this is completely winning now. G7 is weaker. Also, our queen can invade on H7. Meanwhile, if he takes on F4, what is the idea? We just play E5. We kick his knight out all the same. And computer says we could play knight E2 here. Queen H7 is more to my taste. Yeah, queen H7, they castle here, and we start picking up some pawns here. And most importantly, now that we've gotten this G pawn, his F pawn is weaker and his H pawn is. This would be a relatively straightforward win here. Anyway, I played knight E2, bro played bishop E7, I played knight G3. Apparently I'm supposed to take here. Takes and then what? Check. Oh, I missed this. And then knight D4 here. I completely missed knight D4. Yeah, this is extremely strong. They can't play knight C5 because of B4, and we're going to win a piece. If the knight moves, we're going to get the royal fork, as they say. The royal fork with the broken mouse. Anyway, knight d4, I'm wondering, what if he plays king g8, takes queen b6? That's cool. In this case, we could just play something like rook g1 or queen f3, and we're just going to castle, put our rook on g1, and all of our pieces are pointed at his king side. He's going to lose this. Technically, he has a lot of pieces over on the king side, but they're not well coordinated. This is going to be completely over, so yeah, I mean, just something like this. Like, I don't even know what he's going to do. I guess he has to play knight f8. But then we play bishop f5, takes, king f8, castles. We're going to put the rook on g1, double down on the g file. It's time to go. All right, anyway, I made a mistake. I played knight g3, queen c7, knight h5. I thought that this was a good move. We're completely dislodging this knight, trying to break through his defenses. This knight is his best defender. Bro plays rook g8. I play knight h7. Bro castles queenside. I thought this was all very good. Rook g1, this is definitely a mistake. I don't know why in hindsight, I should not have done this. This was too risky. I didn't realize that my knight was going to get into trouble here. I should just take. That's really interesting. Computer is saying I should take with this knight. I would have assumed on principle you should take with the green knight because the green knight might be getting trapped. But takes, what is the difference here? Takes. Yeah, the knight looks like it's getting trapped, but actually with my bishop shooting through here, he has nothing to do. We're going to play queen h5. I can always take on h6 if I need to. Notice that taking on h6 wouldn't just win the pawn, it would also guarantee that my knight stays safe. Yeah, we're going to castle queenside and start winning pawns. I'm also attacking this. This is completely over. Well, what's the difference here? If I take this way, oh, okay, look at the difference. Now, if I take with this knight, then I'm leaving this knight in the way of the rook, and he can take here. And this is a little more complicated. Our knight actually has some problems here, rerouting somewhere else that's useful. Eventually, he's going to play f5, and we would be hard-pressed to find a good score for this knight that's going to be anywhere close. Normally, if he plays f5, the next best score would be e5. That's going to take an eternity for our knight to get to. So, yeah. So this makes sense. Anyway, so I played rook g1, c5. c5 is a mistake. Bro should play knight e8. Yeah, I guess he wasn't playing... This guy definitely wasn't cheating. That's a false alarm, everyone. Yeah, I should just trade here. I was just getting too frisky. I really wanted to win some pawns here. Very, very greedy. Completely unnecessary, though. I should just take, take, just start trading everything. Start trading everything, and then what? King f2, queen h5. How does queen... Oh, queen h5, yeah, check doesn't do anything. We always have bishop f1. Okay. Yeah, we play queen h5, we're attacking h6, we're attacking f6. If he plays something like rook h8, I castle. And very soon, like, given how we have three pieces looking right into this zone here, there's no way that his rook is going to be able to hold everything. He's definitely going to start losing pawns almost immediately. Like, rook g1, rook g7 is the immediate threat. If he plays queen e7, rook g1, queen f8, a really simple plan would be f5. And we're putting more tension under the pawns. If they play e5, we could play e4, d4, bishop c4. There's getting to just be more and more pressure here. I guess he has to play rook h7. Now we could play queen h4, queen e7. We're just starting to break through slowly but surely. Our pieces are just getting better and better here. Already, like, almost all of these pieces are just tied down. This is just a disaster. Like, for the moment, he's been able to manage to keep everything defended, but it's just getting worse and worse. And now we have ideas like bishop d5, rook a8, rook a7. Also bishop d5, queen e2, and hop in through this way. This would definitely be time to go. Anyway, I just completely made a mistake. I took, bro took, bro played bishop f6. That's a fantastic move. Without my bishop on the diagonal, this knight is going to be loose, and this is going to be a very annoying tactic. Not to mention, now that my bishop has been displaced here, I'm always going to have to waste time to move back to be able to cover this skewer threat. So queen c1, yeah, that was inaccurate. If bro played d4, I would have been in serious trouble. Like d4, knight h5, and queen... Ooh, yikes. Yeah, look at that. My queen is just in the way here. If I could just castle queenside in this position, I'd be completely winning. But I can't castle queenside because you can't castle on top of the piece. So yeah, I would be in trouble here. Apparently I can still hold on with king f2, but then takes, sorry, no, not bishop c3. Takes, knight f6, and yeah, this is getting wild. This is getting really, really messy. I could win a second piece, but then rook d2 and I'm getting mated. Like king e1, queen g2. It's time to go. Apparently here I have to take this way. He checks, and then what are we going to do? We're going to hide here? Apparently I'm not getting checkmated here. Yeah, I'm not getting checkmated. If he checks here, then my king can start running through. Very, very weird position, but for the moment, I'm surviving. Anyway, lucky for me, my opponent missed it. My opponent played rook h8. I played queen b2. Brilliant move. I thought it was very natural. I'm just hitting the knight. If he plays something like queen d8, we can get our bishop out of the way, and something like rook g8. Yeah, I could take here even. I was looking at other moves, like if his queen comes here, this is one of the best ways for him to try to play this position. Computer is saying it's inaccurate, but it still is. The main thing here is just that we have this skewer. So if he takes this way, I can take here. If he takes this way, I can take here, and I'm hitting the queen and rook. And a really cool part here is that after takes, I'm actually going to win the knight as well. Whether he plays king d7 or queen d8, both of those are going to be blundering the knight. I'm looking at it now, though. Actually, after queen d8 takes on h7, this gets a little frisky. We are winning, but I'm probably going to have to... I have to keep in mind that there's some skewer ideas here. We're going to have to be a little careful about that. Apparently, even if I allow the skewer, I'm still winning here because we're going to be up a critical pawn here, and his queen is really disconnected from everything. Yeah, even so, though, just a really great position for me. So queen b2, bro plays d4. d4 has to be the best move. I get my bishop out, rook g8. I took. Yeah, I was also thinking about knight f5, but I thought that this is just a little bit worse because in this position, he's going to put the rook on e8 long term. And yeah, like he could play h5 here. Honestly, I don't really understand that. Oh, look at that. h5 takes, queen takes, and he's hitting my bishop. Unlike the position we saw in the game, I can't take this because my bishop is hit. And if I move my bishop back, he could get this pawn back. This pawn is starting to go down the board. My pawns are still so much more compact than his are. I should have plenty of compensation here. The computer is saying that it's 0.15 for black. At the same time, though, this is very tricky, though, because all of my pieces are locked away from the king side. This pawn is going to run very fast here. It's not easy at all for my bishop to cover the pawn if it comes to a knight versus bishop endgame. Like, how is my bishop going to get to this diagonal? It would have to go here via e2. All right. Anyway, so I took on e6. This is best. Takes. Just in general, by the way, guys, like this is a really important thing to remember. If whenever you have the choice, you should try to keep the e-file closed. You should try to keep their e-file closed. Normally, the e-file is where you get punished. It's where the bird gets pecked. So bro played king b8. King b8's a very natural move. I'm surprised that that's a mistake. Yeah, he has to play rook d8, because if rook d8 then takes, our queen is still locked out here. He could also play rook takes d4 with pressure on f4. This would also be fine. This is a really interesting position. Like, it has to be equal here because our queen is so bad, but at the same time, his king is much weaker long-term than ours. Because his king is much weaker long-term than ours, I think that I could definitely play this position for a win, and I think I could swindle a lot of people. At least in Rapid and Blitz. Maybe in Classical, this would end up being a draw, but in Blitz and Rapid, it would be very winnable. He also has some winning chances, though. He could start pushing this pawn down the board. I think long-term, though, the fact that our pieces have much more scope here, he hasn't locked our queen out with the pawn. Rather, he's locked it out with the rook, but the queen can come out eventually. Because our pieces can ultimately get access to the king side, it's not clear yet whether or not this pawn will be a strength or a weakness. All right, so castles king b8 takes knight d5, f5, just completely dislodging the knight. Apparently he should play knight b4 here because the idea is that if takes, he gets to triple our pawns, and this just gets rowdy. Yeah, this should be equal. Even though we're up a pawn here, our structure has been completely ruined. Play queen e5, he's going to hunt this pawn down. This should be fine for him. Yeah, knight b4 would be much better. Knight b4, I was going to play bishop c4, and then apparently he takes. Oh, okay, look at this. We can't take here because of the fork. Yikes. So we would have to take... Well, I also can't take this way because of what? I was going to say b5, but no, b5 we can take here because we're still covering the fork. Apparently he plays queen c5, though. What a weird position. Yeah, queen c5, holding on to the pawn, holding on to the knight. And unlike that other position that we just looked at, he's holding on to the pawn. This is a pawn, not a rook, so our queen cannot access the king side via the third rank. It's going to take forever to get this queen in the game. Like, think about how hard it would be for this queen to get over to h2. I don't even think we could do it in 5 moves. Like, how would we do it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's forever. That's so far. This way also wouldn't be good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you guys can tell, these routes are slow, and it's all due to the fact that the pawn is on d4 here. Yeah, this game turned out to be very instructive. Pretty much, yeah, there are positions where our queen recaptures the bishop here, but in those positions, you need to make sure your queen isn't going to get locked out by a pawn here. Because if it is, then your queen is just going to be out of the game. All right, so dude took. I played bishop c4. That's a pin. Apparently, I should just take here. Yeah, why didn't I take here, actually? Takes, check. This is pinned. His rook isn't here yet. So unlike the other position, he can't play queen c7 here. Queen c7 would just hang the knight. If he plays king a8, then what? Could we play c4? No, look at the c4 knight b4. Takes, and all of a sudden we're losing. Yeah, we got to be careful. But apparently here I could just play king b2, and he's just completely stuck. He can't do anything. If he plays something like rook c8, I'll just play rook f1 and hunt this pawn down. Or sorry, not rook f1. I'll play rook e1. And if he plays knight b4, we can always take here because he can't take back because of the back rank mate. Yeah. So we're going to play rook e1 here, eye the back rank. If he plays something like a6 to clear the back rank, we can take here, hit the rook d8, and I think now c4 would win. Yeah. We just got to choose it carefully, and we got to make sure that they don't have this fork here. Like in this case, they don't. We could just take. So I just completely missed this. I played bishop c4, rook d8, takes. Yeah, this is clearly better for him than before. He should have played queen d6. Yeah, queen d6 makes a lot more sense because takes, his rook is keeping an eye on h6. This is going to be okay for him. Queen c7, this is interesting. So takes, this should still be completely winning. I mentioned this during the gameplay, that these two pawns combined with the fact that the rook has to cover the knight, he's going to lose one of these pawns immediately. He's probably going to lose both of them very soon. So like knight b6, bishop d3, already he has to make a choice. One of these pawns is dropping. Rook h8, takes on f5. And yeah, the whole problem here, we could just put the rook on h4. We don't have to worry about him pushing to a light square, as our bishop would be able to target the pawn much easier. The whole problem for him here is that his knight cannot help out with the king side and the queen side. His knight is a short range piece. Our bishop is fantastic here. Actually, at the moment, our bishop is just dominating the knight. And eventually, Well, we have a few plans here. First of all, our bishop makes sure that this pawn can't really get that far. If it ever pushes to h5, we'll hunt it down. But beyond that, our bishop is aiming at b7, and our bishop can also assist these pawns long term. This is a pretty basic rule, but at the end of the day, people who watch my channel might not know it. Bishops are much better than knights whenever the board is stretched, whenever the fight is on two flanks. In this case, black is trying to play on the king side, white is trying to play on the queen side. We have some targets here. Also, we have our pawns that we're trying to push. And so because of that, our bishop is going to really easily outpace the enemy knight. Anyway, so I took, bro did this. I played rook h1. This is a blunder. Apparently I'm just supposed to trade here. Yeah, this would be completely winning. I don't know why I didn't do this. Rook h1, h5, and I'm just going to start pushing these pawns up slowly, like c4, rook g5, king c2, and I have ultimately two connected pass pawns here. And yeah, I'm just going to start throwing them up the board. Normally in a rook endgame, if you have two extra connected pawns, even if materially speaking, they have some pawns elsewhere to balance them out on a material level, normally two connected pass pawns are just decisive. This would be completely decisive here. Yeah. All right, so I played rook h1, dude threw in a check. What was he supposed to do? Knight b4. Uh-oh. Yeah, I completely missed that. I had seen this in another variation, and in the other variation, my rook was on e1, and I thought I could play queen e5 here. All right, so queen d6, rook h1, check. Apparently that's a mistake. Guys, honestly speaking, we've already been recording for like 40 minutes. I just got to get this video over with. We got to speed through this. I can't be here all day. I was supposed to record like 5 videos in this time. Yeah, so check. Apparently this is a mistake. Now we have check here, queen a1. I thought this was best. He could play... Oh, I completely missed this. This is so silly of me. Look at this. Takes, takes. I just saw that I can't take here, but of course I have king c3. Yeah, this is just completely winning. I just completely missed that. All right, so I put my queen on a1, a little inaccurate. a6, d3, rook c8, queen b2. Wow, this is just a blunderfest. Apparently I could just take here. What is the idea? If b5, what am I going to do? Bishop e6. Oh, look at that. That's crazy. Takes, he's almost checkmating me. But now we can start the attack first. We're going to check. We're going to check. And my queen is coming to the party first. Like king c6, we have check. Oh, is that not? Sorry, this is just mate in one. Yeah. And if king c5, where is the checkmate here? Oh, just check and mate. All right, so that was better. So I played queen b2. Apparently now bro has a draw, but I thought b5, a3, takes, takes, takes. I saw this position and I thought that this was this isn't a win? How is this? Okay, this is actually pretty crazy. Yeah, he could play rook d3 here. He could play rook d3 and ultimately he's going to take this pawn. And it doesn't really matter in this position if I have these two. Like, well, first of all, he could even defend this, but just for argument's sake, this is well known to be a draw. If you have bishop and knight pawn against a rook pawn, it's going to be a draw, barring a few exceptions. Yeah. All right, that's interesting. Yeah, in my calculations, I had seen these positions, but I was looking at like stuff like this, like rook h6, king c3, rook d8, king d2, and I thought in this position I should have good winning chances because ultimately I'm going to take this pawn here. Yeah, so this pawn ending should be winning, right? These three are going to be able to handle themselves, and then I'm going to go take this pawn and then eventually bring my king back over. But yeah, suffice to say, regardless of whether even this position is a draw, he didn't have to allow this. He could play d2, and when his pawn gets to d2, the difference now is that his rook has access. His rook has immediate access to try to get one of my pawns. And if this trifecta turns into two pawns, it's just going to be a draw. All right. So yeah, bro played rook h8. I played this, and now this is completely winning. Apparently he had another draw here still. Apparently, like even in this position, apparently even here, if I just play bishop e6, I'm completely winning. Yeah, that's interesting. Ultimately, I have two extra pawns here on this side of the board. Knight c6 will play bishop d5. Something like c4. And yeah, it's very similar to that position that I talked about before. We have a bishop against a knight. I do have these pawns running down the board. Ultimately, the bishop should dominate the knight in this double-sided struggle. All right. So yeah, anyway, this happened. Bro blundered. Yeah, now this is losing. I'm going to have these two pawns connected here. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter whether he has an extra pawn to balance some things out. Whether if you have two connected pawns, that's all you need to have a winning advantage generally. Like b5 here, takes, king c6, rook h5, and slowly but surely I'm going to inch these pawns forward. All right, so king c3, king b6, takes here, b5, takes, king b4, rook e4, check, king b6, rook h5, rook d4, check, king c5. And yeah, I'm just moving my pawns down the board. This has to be completely winning. In this position, I had a choice. I could get my knight for a pawn in two different ways. I could get a knight for this pawn and open up his e-file. I could also get a knight for his e-pawn and open up the f-file. In general, when you're playing the bird, you do not want your opponent to get an open e-file, so that's why I took here to keep his e-file closed. Second takeaway is be very careful about your queen moving to b2 if it's going to get pushed, if they're going to be able to play d4 against it. If they can't play d4, generally your queen has excellent access to this diagonal and it has plenty of influence over the board. Especially in middle games, we see this a lot. There's some of those like Queen's Indian-esque positions where we're playing against their kingside fianchetto, where we put a bishop on e5 and then we can bring the queen to reinforce it from c1 and put the queen on b2 here. In these positions, though, where they get d4 in quickly and they can support d4 with concrete, meaning it's defended by pawns, our queen becomes very irrelevant and completely disconnected from the rest of the board. If my opponent had played rook d8 here, he would have excellent chances of a draw. So I did want to end this video with something to reward those who watched to the end of the video.
Time to go!